You know that quiet little voice in your head? The one that's always predicting the worst case scenario? Yeah, that one. It's the one that sabotages our future before we even get started. Well, today, we're going to talk about how to finally shut it down and rewrite that script. We spend so much of our time looking for challenges on the outside, but what if the real thing holding you back is a story that you're telling yourself? A story that probably starts with a few thoughts that sound, well, pretty familiar. Ah, there it is. That's the classic. The instant shutdown. The voice that just kills an idea before it even has a chance to take a breath. And here's its favorite sidekick. This is the thought that slams the door on new chapters, on second chances. It's the one that convinces you your time for making big moves is, well, over. You know, this might just be the most dangerous one of all. It's the sound of a conclusion being written for a story that's barely even started. And here's the problem. We don't treat these thoughts like wild guesses. We treat them like there's some kind of profound wisdom. And that's really our first big idea here. Why on earth do these negative predictions feel so responsible, so mature? How did we learn to mistake our own fear for brilliant insight? I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? After years of experience, seeing things go right, seeing things go wrong, we feel like we've earned this caution. We tell ourselves we're not being negative, we're just being realistic. We're seeing the world for what it is, not what we wish it could be. But here is the critical twist, something the ancient Stoic philosophers were all over. What feels like wise, mature foresight is so often just fear wearing a clever disguise. We think we're seeing the future, but really, we're just projecting our old anxieties onto a totally blank screen. And get this, modern neuroscience totally backs this up. Our brains are, quite literally, prediction machines. They're hardwired to use past data to guess what's coming next. But here's the catch. As we get older, that machine can get stuck in a rut. It starts to prefer the certainty of a familiar failure over the scary, wide-open possibility of success. Your brain would rather be right about failing than take a chance on succeeding. So, okay, this isn't just some harmless thought pattern we can ignore. This internal prediction actually creates the very outcome it's predicting. It's a really destructive cycle, and it works a little something like this. The process is actually super straightforward when you see it laid out. It all starts with that prediction. I'll never get that promotion. Then, without even realizing it, your behavior starts to shift. You put in a little less effort, maybe you sound a bit more defensive in meetings. Because of that, the outcome actually gets worse. You don't jump on opportunities, you don't connect with your boss, and then, bam, prediction confirmed. You get to tell yourself, see, I knew it wouldn't work. And that right there, that's the trap. That negative thought didn't protect you from disappointment at all. It coached you into making that failure a reality. You don't fail because the future was set in stone. You fail because you started acting like it was. So, how in the world do we break this cycle? Well, the Stoics had a brilliant solution. It all comes down to making a really ruthless and incredibly helpful distinction between two different ideas. The Stoics were crystal clear about this. Preparation is rational. It's all about what you can actually control, your actions, your training, your responses. Prediction, on the other hand, is completely irrational. It's about imagined outcomes, stories you tell yourself. It's that fear we talked about, masquerading as knowledge. The whole game is to live entirely on the side of preparation. This is basically the modern-day version of the Stoic rule. It's so simple, but it's powerful. And it's a total mindset shift. See, your job isn't to guess the final score of the game. Your job is to prepare, to play your heart out to the best of your ability, right here and right now. Okay, so understanding the philosophy is one thing, but actually putting it into practice when you're stressed out is another. So let's get super practical. Here are 3 specific Stoic tools you can start using to dismantle that internal predictor the second it pops up. This is your first line of defense. The moment that thought appears, this meeting is going to be a complete disaster. Just stop and ask yourself this one simple question. Is it a fact or is it a forecast? A fact is something that has already happened. A forecast is just a guess. The minute you label it a forecast, it loses its power. You don't have to obey it or even argue with it. You just see it for what it is and you can move forward anyway. Oh, this one is a total game changer. The Stoics never ever tied a person's worth to the outcome because outcomes are never fully in our control. They tied it to our actions, our effort. So if you can adopt this mantra, my job is the attempt, you cut self-sabotage off at the knees. It frees you up to give it your all because the effort is the win. And this third tool is so important because it's not about forcing yourself into some kind of fake optimism. Don't just try to tell yourself it's all going to be fine. Your brain knows you're kind of lying. Instead, just ask a better question, a question that brings back possibility without demanding certainty. What if? What if it doesn't go as badly as I'm predicting? See, that just cracks the door open a little bit, just enough for you to take a step forward. Okay, so let's put this all together into one simple little exercise you can do anytime. First, name that negative prediction out loud. Say it. I'm predicting I won't get the project. Second, label it. Okay, that is a forecast, not a fact. Third, identify one tiny action you would take if you truly didn't know the outcome. Maybe it's just sending one email. And fourth, this is the most important step. Take that one small action today. And that's really the core message, isn't it? The future isn't some puzzle that you're supposed to solve inside your head. It's a path that you build, one uncertain step at a time, through the actions you take right now. And here's the final crucial point I want to leave you with. When we're younger, maybe the biggest risk is being reckless. But by the time we're mid-career, the far greater danger is being too cautious. It's letting these old, tired predictions quietly convince you not to even try, not to knock on doors that just might still be open for you. So the final takeaway is this. Your negative predictions aren't wisdom, they're just old habits, and you can absolutely interrupt a habit. The future doesn't need your fear, it needs your participation. So what if you stopped trying to read the last page of the book? What if instead you just picked up the pen and started writing today's sentence?